Marlborough is a market town and civil parish in the English county of Wiltshire on the Old Bath Road, the old main road from London to Bath. It boasts the second widest high street in Britain, after Stockton-on-Tees. The town is on the River Kennet. History: the earliest sign of human habitation is a 62 feet high prehistoric tumulus in the grounds of Marlborough College. Recent radiocarbon dating has found it to date from about 2400 BC. It is of similar age to the larger Silbury Hill about 5 miles west of the town. Legend has it that the mound is the burial site of Merlin and that the name of the town, Marlborough, comes from Merlin's barrow. On John Speed's map of Wiltshire, the town's name is recorded as Marlinge's Barrow. The town's motto is Ab nunc sapientis ossa Merlini, where now are the bones of wise Merlin. More plausibly, the town's name probably derives from the medieval term for chalky ground Marla, thus town on chalk. Further evidence of human occupation comes from the discovery of the Marlborough bucket, an Iron Age burial bucket, with decorations of human heads and animals on cheat bronze, now on display at the Wiltshire Heritage Museum in Devizes. Roman remains and coins have been found 2 miles to the east of Marlborough, at Mildenhall. A later Saxon settlement grew up around the green and 2 early river crossings were made at Isbury Lane and Stonleybridge Lane. In 1067 William the Conqueror assumed control of the Marlborough area and set about building a wooden motte and bailey castle, sited on the prehistoric mound. This was completed in around 1100. Stone was used to strengthen the castle in around 1175. The first written record of Marlborough dates from the Domesday Book in 1087. William also established a mint in Marlborough, which coined the William I and the early William II silver pennies. The coins display the name of the town as Moelby or Maryleborough. He also established the neighbouring Savernake Forest as a favourite royal hunting ground and Marlborough Castle became a royal residence. Henry I observed Easter here in 1110. Henry II stayed at Marlborough Castle in talks with the King of Scotland. His son, Richard I, gave the castle to his brother John, in 1186. King John was married here and spent time in Marlborough. He even established a treasury. In 1204 King John granted charter to the borough which permitted an annual 8-day fair, commencing on August 14, the vigil of the Feast of the Assumption of Our Lady, in which all might enjoy the liberties and quittances customary in the fair at Winchester. He also established that weekly markets may be held on Wednesdays and Saturdays. These continue to this day. Later Henry III was also married here. Henry III held Parliament here, in 1267, when the Statute of Marlborough was passed. This 700-year-old law states that no one shall seize his neighbour's goods for alleged wrong without permission of the court. Apart from charters, it is the oldest statute in English law which has not yet been repealed. The castle fell into disrepair by the end of the 14th century but remained Crown property. Edward VI then passed it to the Seymour family, his mother's relatives. In 1498 Thomas Wolsey was ordained priest in St. Peter's Church. He later rose to become a cardinal and Lord Chancellor. In 1642 Marlborough's peace was shattered by the English Civil War. The Seymours held the castle for the king but the town was for Parliament. With his headquarters in nearby Oxford, King Charles had to deal with Marlborough. A town the most notoriously disaffected of all that country, otherwise, saving the obstinacy and malice of the inhabitants, in the situation of it very unfit for a garrison. This place the king saw would prove quickly an ill neighbour to him, not only as it was in the heart of a rich county, and so would straiten him, and even infest his quarters. The king sent Lord Digby to take the town who left Oxford, the head of 400 horses, November 24, 1642. When he arrived, he chose to parley first, thus giving the inhabitants a chance to prepare defences and to recruit troops. They mustered about 700 poorly armed men. At this point, the town issued a reply to Digby, the King's Majesty, providing he were attended in royal and not in warlike wise, should be as welcome to that town as ever was prince to people. But as to delivering up the good town of Marlborough to such a traitor as Lord Digby, they would sooner die. After some early skirmishes, Royalist troops infiltrated the town down its small alleyways. the town was captured and looted and many buildings were set ablaze. 120 prisoners were marched in chains to Oxford. The town was later abandoned by the king and took no further part in the war. On April 28, 1653, the Great Fire of Marlborough started in a tanner's yard and spread quickly, eventually after 4 hours burning the Guildhall, St. Mary unregistered trademark S Church, the county armoury, and 244 houses to the ground. During the rebuilding of the town after the Great Fire, the High Street was widened and is often claimed to be the widest in England, though the actual widest is in Stockton-on-Tees. This wide street allows ample space for the local market. Fire swept through the town again in 1679 and again in 1690. This time, an Act of Parliament was passed to prohibit the covering of houses and other buildings with thatch in the town of Marlborough. In 1804 the Marlborough White Horse was cut by boys from Mr. Greasley's Academy in the High Street. In 1901 and 1934 the boundaries of the borough were extended to include the hamlet of Preshute and the village of Manton, both to the west of the town. In 2004 Marlborough celebrated 800 years of its town charter. Among the celebrations was a street play by the Marlborough Players entitled Wheels of Time, and a visit from H.R.H. Prince Charles. Town events: every summer the town holds a jazz festival with local pubs, clubs, hotels and various other venues playing host to live jazz music over the course of a weekend. The Marlborough Mop Fair was originally a hiring fair for agricultural workers seeking employment, but now has become a travelling fun fair. It takes place over 2 weekends in October, as the Big Mop and Little Mop Fairs. In 2014 these were set for €3 and €17 October 18. Notable buildings. On the north side of the High Street is the Merchant's House, which is currently under restoration but part of which is open to the public for guided tours on Tuesdays, Fridays and Saturdays from April to October. The house was built following the Great Fire of 1653. It was the property of a silk merchant and, rarely for a house of this type in a town centre, still retains its original room pattern. Notable are the wall paintings recently uncovered, which are undergoing conservation. One room painted in a striped pattern, copying silk hangings, is perhaps unique in Great Britain. Governance: the local authority is Wiltshire Council, which, after the 2009 local elections, is Conservative-controlled. Marlborough lies within the Devizes constituency. There are 2 electoral wards in the town. Their area and population are identical to that quoted above. Education. Marlborough College, an independent boarding school, is located on the west side of the town. The town's local authority secondary school, St John's Academy, had been considered an above-average school and sixth form college by Ofsted, and in the June 2014 report it was considered outstanding. It was formed when the former Marlborough Grammar School and Secondary Modern School were amalgamated. There is also a junior school, St Peter's, and an infant school, St Mary's, which are named after the 2 churches in Marlborough. Sport: Marlborough is home to Marlborough Rugby Club, who completed their most successful season in recent history in the 2009-10 South West Division Dorset and Wilts 1 North League. Marlborough won 22 games from 22 to secure promotion to the Southern Counties South League. The club has a second 15 senior team as well as over 220 juniors from U6 to U15. Marlborough Town FC play their home games at Elcott Lane, to the east of the town, and are current members of the Wiltshire League. There is a cricket team whose first X1 compete in the WEPL Wiltshire Premier Division. Religion. Church of England. The town is at the heart of the Church of England Marlborough Deanery in the Diocese of Salisbury in the province of Canterbury. The rural dean has responsibility for the benefices of Marlborough, Ridgeway, Upper Kennet and Whitton, which in total comprise 16 parishes. Of the town's 2 Church of England parish churches, St Peter's has been made redundant and converted into an arts centre. St Mary's remains in use for worship. The late renowned jockey Sir Gordon Richards is buried in the new cemetery on Marlborough Common, the second of 2 such cemeteries to be opened after the 2 churchyards stopped being used for burials. Transport. Although once served by 2 railway lines, the town no longer has any direct rail access. The nearest railheads, by connecting Busse Bedwin Railway Station, Pewsey Railway Station and Swindon Railway Station. There are plans to reintroduce a railway connection to the main line at Savernake, but these plans face serious opposition locally. As a former coaching town, Marlborough is well connected by road, with the A4 from Hungerford to Caen, A346 from Tidworth to Swindon and A345 from Salisbury all meeting in the town. Notable people: David Brudenell Bruce, Earl of Cardigan, 31st Hereditary Warden of Savernake Forest, William Golding Nobel Prize winner, author of Lord of the Flies, grew up in the town. Lived in a house on the Green and educated at the former Marlborough Grammar School, where his father was a science master. Phil Harding, Time Team archaeologist, educated in the town. Eglantin Jeeb, founder of Save the Children Fund, taught at St Peter's Junior School and located at the western end of the High Street. It is said that Jeeb was inspired to action by the rural poverty she saw amongst her pupils. Twin towns: Marlborough is twinned with Gunja, the Gambia, since 1982, Margency, France, since 2002. References. Further reading: Aston, Michael. Bond, James. The Landscape of Towns. Archaeology in the Field Series. London, J. M. Dent and Sons Limited, pages 60. ISBN 0-460-04194-0. Crowley, D. A. Baggs, A. P. Freeman, Jane. Stevenson, Janet H. A History of the County of Wiltshire. Victoria County History 12, Rambry and Selkie Hundreds. The Borough of Marlborough. London, Oxford University Press for the Institute of Historical Research, pages 199-229. ISBN 978-0197227596. Pevsner, Nikolaus. Cherry, Bridget, 1963. Wiltshire. The Buildings of England. Harmondsworth, Penguin Books, pages 333-341. ISBN 01407100264. External links: Marlborough Town Council, Marlborough, Wiltshire at DMOZ, Historic Marlborough photos at BBC Wiltshire, Day Out, of Ebury and Marlborough, a 30-minute BBC TV programme made in 1982 of a day spent exploring of Ebury and Marlborough at BBC Wiltshire. Wiltshire Community History, includes a wealth of historical information. Marlborough by A. G. Bradley in Macmillan's Magazine, Vol. LII, May to October, 1885, pages 188-198.